Hey, what's up, you guys? It is Shacey Bender. I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Sierra, and welcome back to this week's video. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Usually we do, movie commentary, show commentary kind of stuff, and we do analyze it a bit.
But it's more about our opinion.
Yeah, but this we're going deep into a real, discussion, video essay style about complicated versus simple love. In our last video, we ranked the characters from The Summer I Turned Pretty on a tier list, and that got us thinking about love triangles and how they are presented in media.
And to represent the most popular love triangle, we have Edward and Jacob and Clocklips. There's her, and then here's Edward. Can you see it?
He's kind of transparent because,
yeah, he sparkles.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We realized, after talking about it, that there is a common theme amongst most of them. A choice between a complicated or a simple love. So the idea for this video was born.
And we just want to talk about The Summer I Turned Pretty some more, honestly.
So today we're going to explore this topic. We're going to talk about the different themes and nuances that come along with these two different kinds of loves and how that is presented to us as viewers. But just to preface before we get into it, we are going to be talking about quite a couple different relationships in media just to kind of cover all bases of different variations of things.
Yeah, because also it's not like couples of each different type of love, like not all of them are bad.
Yeah.
And not all of them are good either, so I feel like we need some more examples.
And not all of them are the same either. We're gonna be covering a lot of different ones from a lot of different fandoms when talking about examples of these kinds of relationships, but we will be focusing on The Summer I Turned Pretty and Smallville the most. Because first of all, The Summer I Turned Pretty was already the inspiration for this video, and so was Smallville in a way because we've been watching that and they have kind of multiple love triangles kind of going on in that.
How could we not talk about Smallville when we literally just met them?
Yeah, we
literally just met Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum. I mean, we are avid Smallville viewers.
Yes.
Have we finished the show completely? No, but I'm obsessed. And I have been for a while.
Like a long time.
A long time.
And we feel that these two shows pretty much encapsulate what we're talking about the best. Without further ado, let's get into it.
So to begin, I suppose we have to define the relationships. So what even is the difference between a complicated and simple love? We would define a complicated love. I mean, I guess there's not a definitive definition.
Yeah, we kind of came up with this on our own,
But we're just saying, based on what we've seen in media. This is all pretty much based in fiction, okay? Yeah. We would define a complicated love as a relationship where one or both of the people in the relationship go very hot and cold. It honestly goes beyond the typical will they, won't they. This just spans on. There's a constant push and pull fueled by avoidance, unclear communication, or some form of incompatibility. Now that can be emotionally, morally, or some sort of external barrier separating them. It can be a multitude of things.
And these relationships are often depicted as the truest romance possible in media. It's a roller coaster of passion, but it's filled with lots of hurt and trauma most of the time.
I know. It's full of, a ton of trauma, but yet it is considered, the epitome of romantic love. And the first thing that comes to my mind is The Notebook. That's the first couple I think of when you think of a complicated relationship, because people romanticize them so much, and I hate them. I can't stand them. She's physically hitting him all the time. He's yelling at her. Why do I want this? And he's a lunatic.
Yeah, he's like, if you don't go out with me, I'm gonna drop off this effing Ferris wheel right now.
Yeah, I don't care if they love each other. Come on, people. So some examples that we have of complicated love would be Belly and Conrad from The Summer I Turned Pretty. Way better than freaking Allie and Noah from The Notebook. Oh my god. Edward and Bella from Twilight. Clark and Lana from Smallville. Ju Kyung and Suho from True Beauty, which I'm so excited that we're getting to talk about some K-dramas on here. And so many more. And again, obviously, we already mentioned Noah and Allie from The Notebook. May this love never find me.
We would define a simple love as a relationship that's solely based in comfort, whether that be for the better or for the worse. Because sometimes, it's depicted as just the safe option to choose. It's like there's no passion there, there's no attraction, they don't even really like each other that much, or maybe one person is, into it, but the protagonist isn't. But other times it's depicted as safe, but with a more positive connotation, where it's safe in the sense that the protagonist feels like the person they are in a relationship with makes them feel like they're at home. They make them feel like they are seen and understood.
And a lot of the time, the simple love person in the love triangle, like, usually it's like a girl and then two guys, right?
Yeah.
And then, one's a simple guy and one's the complicated one. And usually the girl does not pick the simple love, usually because, lack of passion or attraction. Sorry, Jacob.
It's not always the case, but,
It's almost like they never got a chance sort of
Yeah.
things a lot of the time, even if it would be simpler, because again, gotta go back to your Edward. Some examples of simple loves in media would be Belly and Jeremiah, or Cam. Honestly, I think it's more Cam than Jeremiah, but...
Yeah, because Jeremiah, I would still define him as a simple love, but he kind of sometimes goes in between, like, being complicated and simple. Like, at first it was definitely simple, but then, honestly, by the end of the relationship, it went more complicated. But we'll get into how they can shift phases. Like,
Yeah.
it can go from complicated to simple, or simple to complicated.
But then we also have Lon and Allie from The Notebook, because I don't remember him ever doing anything wrong, but yeah, it's like, you gotta go back to Noah. But it's like, Lon had money, like,
Get that money!
Anyway, like, okay, I get Noah built the house, but like, oh my god, he's toxic. And so is she. Bella and Jacob from Twilight are another simple love. Clark and Lois from Smallville. Ju Kyung and Sojun from True Beauty, and many others.
The key distinction between these two types of relationships is that one is usually built on infatuation and passion and attraction, and then the other, on the other hand, is built on safety, effort, consistency, and familiarity. Now, let's get into some of the intricacies of complicated loves.
Especially because that's what the main thing that we see in media all the time.
Yes, because it makes for a great story, okay?
Yeah, I will say that fictionally complicated loves usually do make a better story.
Yeah. I mean, oftentimes, complicated loves, they thrive on one of two things: idealization or trauma. And a great example of idealization driving a complicated love is Belly and Conrad, obviously. Belly is often depicted as fawning over Conrad, and she kind of has this very warped perception of Conrad because of the fact that she was so infatuated with him as a child. And she put him on this pedestal as being this very perfect guy that could do no wrong in her eyes. And as she got older, she realized that that just was not true. Or at least, she got inklings of it.
Yeah, because even all the time when, the adults are talking, they always tell Conrad, like, oh, you know how much you meant to her back then. Like, they would be like, you're her hero and all this weird stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and this is precisely why when he pulled away after they almost kissed, it hurts on a deeper level because it, like, just destroys that view of him.
That perfect image that she had in her head.
Yeah, and I guess the thing is like, despite him hurting her, her romanticization of him just kept pulling her back to him. At the end of season 1, in the end, she does choose Conrad and leaves Jeremiah at the drop of a hat because Conrad is all she ever wanted. Again, like that romanticization, acting like who else could be out there. And in season 3 of the series, the very thing that made her realize that she shouldn't marry Jeremiah, it was literally just out of the fact that she didn't know what she wanted out of her wedding, because the only thing she ever pictured in it was Conrad. That's the only thing she ever imagined.
Yeah. But especially in season 1, she keeps coming back to the potential of what Conrad could be and not what he currently is, because he was in a pretty pretty rough state in season 1. This potential of what he could be is genuinely the driving force of what kept her unrequited love alive for so long.
You know, I at least appreciate that later on, after he's been treating Belly like that and being confusing or whatever, he was like, no, like, my mental health and all this isn't an excuse. Like, anything that was going on isn't an excuse, and he, like, owned up to his actions. I really appreciated that. And another great example of, honestly, I think this is the epitome of everything. I think that the Smallville examples are, like, the best examples.
Girl Next Door.
Yeah.
You know.
So another great example is Clark and Lana from Smallville. This relationship, whew, I know people love Kalana, but this exhibits both idealization and trauma. They've both been through a lot. Firstly, Clark and Lana romanticize each other in different ways. Clark always saw Lana as, again, the perfect girl for him, this girl next door, especially in the beginning, like, she's so, like, innocent in a certain way, you know? Again, she could really do no wrong. And that he could have no one better than her.
Yeah, because she's just the prettiest girl in town.
She's the prettiest girl in town. She just has everything, right? And she's a good person. But being with her is an escape for him, as he can just act as if he is not different and abandon his true identity. Like, again, every time, you know, even when he lost his powers, when he had his powers taken away, he was like, great, now I can be with Lana. Like, that's his first thought. Because this escapism is one of the main reasons that Clark never reveals his Kryptonian descent, if you will, to her, because a part of his idealization of her is wanting to be a normal person like her.
When he sees her, he sees what he wishes he could be. Lana idealizes Clark in this way where she, like, views him as a protector. He's always gonna come to save her whenever she has a problem. And being together genuinely opens so many old wounds, and they think that being together will somehow resolve their trauma, which is obviously not true. They think this, though, just because they are able to seek refuge in each other. And they both have a history of abandonment in some form. Clark with his birth parents, not Martha and Jonathan, but, like, you know, his Kryptonian parents, you know, Jor-El. He feels, like, abandoned by them in a certain sense because he was just kind of thrown on Earth, and he has to learn all these things on his own. And then, obviously, Lana has abandonment issues because her parents are gone.
Yeah, they were killed in the meteor shower.
And
like,
that's another shared trauma thing. You know, he understands that the reason
why they're dead is because of him.
Is kind of because of him, because when her parents left, he came.
The reality is, the more they are together, the more they lose themselves. Especially Clark, because being with Lana will always keep him from being who he truly is. Because he also wants to be a part of that idealization. The way he idealizes her, he wants to be a part of it. He wants to be like that too. And this just continues a constant push and pull between them. Oh my god, the push and pull is crazy. It goes on for so long. And it's just filled with a lot of secrecy from both parties.
But especially, you know, with Clark, it's like, because he wants to be like her, he wants to pretend that this other part of him does not exist, so he just doesn't tell her. And these examples that we just talked about show the biggest flaw of complicated loves. And that big flaw is the constant emotional turmoil created by them. It creates so much intensity that is often mistaken for passion.
Like we said, it makes for a great story, but, like, although it does make for a great story, it's filled with so much pain all the time. Even if a complicated love works out, it takes such a long time to get to a point where both people in the relationship stop activating each other's personal traumas or
hurting each other in general.
Hurting each other, yeah. And that's exactly what comes to my next point, is what exactly shows this, what exactly demonstrates this point, is that Belly even felt that her relationship with Conrad was so mentally taxing on her that she said that what Conrad put her through was worse than Jeremiah cheating on her. because that push and pull really messes with you mentally. And she was like so over that she was like, you know what, you put me through worse, even though Jeremiah cheated on her.
Yeah. Well, from her point of view.
Again,
you
we
know,
don't
personally think he cheated. What he did was wrong, but it wasn't necessarily cheating because he didn't even think they were together. Whatever. That's a whole nother conversation. But on the flip side, the biggest strength of complicated loves is that they demonstrate how strong a relationship really can be if the push and pull cycle is able to come to an end, of course.
Yeah.
Because when the couple is able to come together and work things out, it shows just this great amount of strength because the relationship was able to withstand so many different obstacles, and it shows just a lot of effort and willingness to grow and change with each other. It shows a lot of problem solving skills, which is what keeps relationships long lasting and healthy.
Yeah, and Conrad and Belly were able to get to that point.
Yes.
Clark and Lana were never going to be able to get to that point. And a lot of it does have to do with external factors. I mean, inherently, a lot of the conflict is external factors, but neither of them are honest. So this strength is what makes these type of relationships so appealing to audiences, and why we consider complicated loves to be some of the greatest romances of all time. It truly tests how far love can take us if the love is tenacious enough. It encapsulates the idea that soulmates will always come back to each other.
Yeah, that's the thing that people are obsessed with. They want to believe that soulmates are real and that if it's right, people will always come back to each other. And I think that's why people love a complicated love story so much.
And again, I get it, it's romantic, but I don't know if I'm just jaded, but like, I think people suck, so like, I don't think you can believe in that. I don't know. I think that things fall into place and are meant to be, but I don't necessarily believe that with like that there's like one person for you.
Sometimes it's just circumstance, you know.
Yeah. Sorry, y'all.
I mean, I want to believe.
I want to believe.
Like, I want to be a lover girl, but you know, I've been.
Someone needs to show me the way.
I've just like been burned too many times to really like believe that like these people are supposed to be in your life for a reason. Is like I believe that about you, but nobody else. You know what I mean?
Oh my god! And it was by birth.
That we're like best friends, soulmates. You know,
like it was meant to
not
be.
All
like
soulmates have to be romantic. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting off topic.
We just like we're better than all these people. Like again, just stick to your friends. Like at a certain point. Anyway, the intricacies of simple loves. So, the obvious major flaw of simple loves is that many of them are built out of fear of having a complicated love. I mean, come on, Belly.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, Conrad is too much, so, like, just get with, like, my best friend, aka his brother. These relationships are built out of fear of having a complicated love a lot of the time, and it makes the protagonist feel as though they are settling by being in the relationship. Sometimes. It's not all the time, but I think a lot of the time it is depicted that way. The desire to remain in the relationship is based on either being treated well, security, or ease, rather than actually feeling attraction. It's just like, this feels easy. And it should, but...
Love should feel easy. But, you know, if you're not attracted to the person, then what's the point?
But also, like...
You should feel attracted to the person that you are in a relationship with.
Also, actually, love isn't easy. Being with them should feel easy.
Yeah.
But also, like, again, the hurdles are gonna come, but it's more, like, about how you, like, tackle those problems. So, let's begin with an example of a simple love. Belly and Cam in season 1 of The Summer I Turned Pretty. Belly's short-lived relationship with Cam was built on consistency and kindness. You know, he was so nice to her, and she was just not into it.
She was taking it for granted. I'm so sorry, Cam.
This relationship just wasn't enough for Belly. She frequently just comes back to the idea of being with a person that made her feel electric. Like, you know, how she was talking to Conrad on the phone.
Yeah, and he was like, I don't think I could be with someone who didn't make me feel electric either.
I love their phone conversations.
Oh, yeah, that's so good. That's my favorite parts of, like, season 2 with them. I love it.
And her not being able to feel feel a spark between her and Cameron is ultimately what made her decide to break things off with him, because she only felt that spark with Conrad. And another example of this would be Joo Kyung and Sojun.
I just wanted to specify that this couple is from the show True Beauty. I know we mentioned the show True Beauty earlier, but I didn't mention it here, so I just wanted to insert that quickly.
Oh, I love them. Well, I love them as characters individually. I don't necessarily think they should end up together, but I am technically Team Sojun just because I like Sojun personally, but I don't think they should be together. It's just a bad situation. Now, although Joo Kyung and Sojun did have some romantic moments together, it seemed that she wasn't really that attracted to him. I honestly would feel confused while watching some parts of the show because it almost seems like she's oblivious to what is happening because she's that, like, not attracted to him. Like, she doesn't even see the romantic implication of some of their interactions.
Yeah, like, there's definitely, like, a romantic vibe going on, or the thing that they are doing is romantic, but she's just not. She's just like, oh.
Okay,
like,
I'm just
oh.
here.
And it's like, what?
Even if she was attracted to him, she clearly wasn't as attracted to him as she was to Suho. And despite the bad boy, oh my god, him with the motorcycle and everything, but despite the bad boy type usually being the complicated love, this is a case where we would classify it as simple, actually. And that's because although Sojun did hide his feelings for Joo Kyung for a long time, and he acted closed off initially, when he finally came to terms with his feelings, he was all in. He was very clear. He was very direct, too. Like, he came to her and was very clear about his interest in her and willingness to do whatever it took to make it work. Was like, I get this amount of dates, and then you can decide how you feel. He continued to pursue her even when she showed a lack of interest with the dates that he planned for them to go on. Like, she was so unenthused the whole time and not really interested in the dates at all. It almost was just like, because she doesn't dislike him, she's like, okay, I guess I'm coming.
I am telling you, her being so uninterested, it was so painful to watch him just go on these dates with her. She doesn't even want to be there. I actually started crying, well, for this man, because I cannot, like, he deserves so much better. But anyway, there was just a clear lack of attraction on her end at that point. There were so many moments earlier on in the show where she tries to confide in Sojun about her relationship problems with Suho.
And she was like, why doesn't he like me? Like, crying on the rock. And he's like, don't say it.
And every single time Sojun, all he could respond with was just being like, it wouldn't be that way if it was me, you know?
It wouldn't be, he said that he would make things clear cut and, like, show whoever he was with off, and that it wouldn't be confusing. Like, I don't know, they did something stupid where she was like, how do guys put girlfriends in their phone? How do they label them in their phone? Because he didn't, I guess Suho didn't put anything, and I swear that Sojun was like, well, I'd put hearts all over it, and, you know, whatever, just again, like how I would make it clear.
Yeah, like, she's my baby or something. Like, I don't even know what he said. I swear it was something like that. Like, I don't even know. And again, because of this common dilemma with the lack of attraction in these types of relationships, many people favor the complicated loves because they would rather, you know, be attracted and have passion. Because a lot of people, they're like, simple loves, like, they suck because there's no passion. But this is where I strongly disagree, because I think a lot of people, again, mistake that intensity that can be created by complicated relationships for passion. They confuse it.
And then they confuse the stability in simple loves for boredom.
It's just boring, it's uninteresting, like, there's just nothing going on.
And honestly, anymore, I hear so many people online now saying that the best kind of love that you will ever receive will be the most boring, because it's not, again, this mentally taxing thing. It's not so drama-filled and overwhelming all the time. It will literally just be like, oh, we ate dinner tonight and watched TV.
Yeah.
You can find love in the simple moments. Again, just like, oh, we're gonna watch TV tonight. Like, you know, you can find love in the simple moments with somebody and feel content. You don't need to be all over the place all the time just to have that, like, passion. Like, honestly, you're wrecking your nervous system.
Yeah. Passion can actually be shown through providing comfort, through providing safety to another person. And that is genuinely the greatest strength of simple loves, because simple loves can just be such a safe space where people finally feel understood and cared for. The greatest example that shows so much passion within safety is Clark and Lois from Smallville. The funniest part about their relationship, though, is that they didn't even like each other at first, yet they end up being a simple love somehow. You know, they showed concern for each other, but they were so annoyed at each other's presence. I mean, they would bicker all the time.
But yet they would go save each other.
Yeah.
Either one of them.
Despite all of that, despite their differences, they understood each other better than anyone else because their relationship was built on clear, honest communication.
Like, that's the funny
and
thing
this is just
like,
something he did not have with Lana.
They were upfront with each other, even about how they didn't like each other. Like, you know what I mean? They would be very just clear cut with each other. And it's like, you're able to have that and still have banter.
Yeah.
And like, I love that for them.
The initial turning point in their friendship is after Clark breaks up with Lana in season 5. Because at this point, it was like Clark's birthday, I believe.
She made him a cake.
Yeah. Lois came to visit him in the barn to cheer him up because he was upset. Because she noticed he was having a hard time and she felt like it was time to give him some tough love. She gives him some, like, very solid advice about, you know, his relationship with Lana because he was just very upset about that. In that moment, Clark feels seen for the first time, and then he confesses to Lois, "There are times where I feel like you don't know me at all. Then there are others where I think you know me better than anyone."
That is my favorite Lois quote. And also, like, again, I don't want to live in a world where you don't love me. Oh my god. See, there is passion, guys. Also, this is the superhero genre. I don't know. Like, she's also the first person to be there to console him when Lana breaks things off again, like, over a video. In season 7, he's like watching the video on the TV, and she comes in and they just intimately embrace each other. Honestly, it seems like the fact that they didn't like each other at first somehow benefited their relationship, because it caused it to be such a slow burn relationship to the point that it allowed them to have enough time to actually get to know each other properly and grow before developing anything actually romantic between the two. Because, you know, one point I really just want to make, especially because enemies to lovers is my favorite. I think people might be confused because I said I don't like complicated love, but enemies to lovers is my favorite trope. And here's exactly why. Some might assume that a relationship being enemies to lovers automatically flags it as complicated, but honestly, I don't believe that at all. And especially, it isn't the case in this relationship. And if it's done properly. Because if enemies to lovers is done properly, where they start as enemies, they find common ground, they build that understanding with one another, then become friends, and then develop romantic feelings. You know, they had so much time to actually grow, and it should be simple.
Yeah. When Clark and Lois actually become a couple, they are far from being passionless. Their relationship is super affectionate. They're all over each other all the time. And they have all of this passion for each other while still having that safety, honesty, and stability, which makes many viewers find Clois to be just the most perfect, ideal romantic relationship.
And honestly, to add to my enemies to lovers point, just briefly, especially because you're just talking about how passionate they were, that's the thing, is that in contrast, if the enemies to lovers isn't done properly, and it's, you know, they immediately go from enemies to lovers, there's no understanding, there's not that friendship before the lovers, that is where it's only based on attraction, and it doesn't work. Whereas this, like, they're all over each other, and they are very attracted to each other, but it's done right.
And that attraction was built over time. And this strength also applies to Belly and Jeremiah's relationship. Jeremiah always made Belly feel noticed. He was always trying to hang out with her, unlike Conrad. And we get this perspective more in the books, but I think it's worth noting just because of how excluded she felt from the boys all the time.
No, they showed it in the show, but they made Conrad the hero.
Yeah, they changed the narrative.
Well, in the books, Jeremiah was the one who always stayed back with her and hung out with her.
Whereas in the show, they kind of just are like, they're best friends. The only thing that they ever showed where he stayed back with her was when she got sick that one time.
And his mom kind of forced him.
Yeah, so it's not, I don't know, it's just not the same. He made his interest in her very clear, whether that was just platonically or romantically. And there's so many times in season 1 where he's, again, asking her to hang out, asking her to do things with him just because he just likes being with her. But still, during this whole thing, she's still so fixated on Conrad, even though all he does is just ignore her and has made literally no effort to spend time with her.
And I know he has a lot going on, but again, it's almost like a thing where, like, I know, oh, he did actually have the gift and whatever,
But it's not an excuse.
You act based on what you're shown from people. I feel like your actual actions are more important than your intentions. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he literally made it seem like he forgot her birthday.
Yeah, because your actions are what actually occurred, what you actually did, not just what you thought. You know?
Yeah.
Like, actions speak louder than words. I know it's a saying for a reason. Like, guys, like, it's a saying for a reason. Belly is just so inexperienced with relationships at the beginning. So she was just kind of very nervous about having certain romantic and sexual experiences. But Jeremiah made it feel so much easier for her to have these experiences because it's Jeremiah. He makes me feel safe. Like, that's what Belly was saying throughout the whole entire time with her relationship.
Yeah, when Belly and Jeremiah are making out in his car, he asks for her consent before going any further. And she even says that despite being afraid of these types of situations, that once again, she quite literally just says she wasn't afraid at all because it was with Jeremiah.
She just feels that safe with him. And they are another love that I think is very passionate. I know, like, a lot of people were like, oh, but the passion is better with Conrad. Whatever, that's, you know, if that's what your opinion is, that's what your opinion is.
And you might think it's better because you might think that Jeremiah is overbearing, and obviously, especially by season 3, Jeremiah and Belly have a codependency problem.
Yeah.
It's annoying. So I get it. But regardless, about the passion part, again, about simple loves, they are definitely not passionless. Like, they are very emotionally and physically attracted to each other.
And that's where they're kind of similar to Lois and Clark, but I honestly don't want to compare them to Lois and Clark too much because Lois and Clark are, like, on another level. Like, Jeremiah and Belly do not even compare.
I don't even like putting that in the same sentence.
But I digress.
I never felt that Belly ever thought that being with Jeremiah was settling necessarily. I mean, she's clearly stated, like I said earlier, about her saying that Conrad has done worse to her in regards to the cheating thing with Jeremiah. She has stated that there were things that she preferred about being with Jeremiah over Conrad and vice versa. Like, there are things that she liked better about being with one over the other. Either way.
The problem at the end of the day is that she was simply just never gonna get over Conrad. It was never gonna happen. He would always be in the back of her mind no matter how much she loved Jeremiah. You know, I mean, she got to the point of going towards marriage, like literally about to get married to this guy and have a wedding, and she was still thinking about Conrad.
Wait, there's like one thing that I have to say because it just came to mind about the complicated love thing, especially like with her and Conrad. The funny thing is that she was literally saying like, yeah, it was like so passionate or whatever. It like, again, you're so in it. She was like, I don't think I want to do that ever again. Where you're so consumed by it. But she does. That's the thing about complicated loves. It's like, okay, it's so passionate or whatever, but like, honestly, doesn't it make you feel horrible?
It was draining to her. She didn't want to go through it again. With Jeremiah, it didn't feel like that
But
at all.
Conrad came back different.
Yeah. He went to therapy. He became better. And honestly, there's nothing that Jeremiah could have done to stop this. And it's unfortunate. It's just like Bella and Edward. There was nothing Jacob could have possibly done to stop Bella from going after Edward.
And especially with Bella, and Edward, she wanted that life. She wanted that vampire life. Like, you know, Jacob's trying to convince her, being like, oh, this isn't good for you, but like she wanted it.
She wanted it bad.
She wanted that vampire pregnancy, even though it was like literally killing her.
Yeah, it was gonna happen no matter what, and I think it's important to note that because we don't necessarily think Jeremiah is a worse choice.
I mean, by the end,
it just wasn't her choice, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, by the end,
it was like a worse choice for her, but just, I mean, like in general.
Like, majority of the show, like, I don't think he was a worse choice. By the end,
it was just,
he was.
But if we're talking about just in general, it was just an unfair scenario. She was never gonna get over Conrad, and she was never not going to end up with Conrad.
Yeah,
either.
so Jeremiah was ultimately a buffer for the inevitable. He was literally a conflict in Belly and Conrad's relationship. He was an obstacle, as Lex would say.
As Lex Luthor would say. He's a high school boyfriend. Just an obstacle. She's not married.
She's not married, Clark, but she will marry me.
Another interesting simple love to note, which is actually not even in a love triangle, is Mike and Eleven from Stranger Things. Being seen and understood is the whole entire basis of their relationship. From the beginning, it's always Mike's friends were othering her. They're like, she's a freak. Like, where'd she even come from?
No, but the funniest part is like, she tried to take her clothes off in front of us.
Yeah. And they were suspicious of her out of fear of the unknown. Where'd she come from? What is going on? Why is her head shaved? Why does she have these abilities? Like, what is going on? But Mike never let any of those things stop him from engaging with her and trying to connect with her.
Just being so genuine. He was nice to people, especially like Will, but like, I don't know. There's just something there, you know? And I like that I'm able to say this because I don't necessarily have a positive overall thought about
relationship.
Eleven these days, but there's some good aspects of their relationship. She was always in a constant state of danger and feeling a need to be alert, but Mike always provided her a space of safety and comfort for the most part. You know, it was a little bit trickier when they got older. I mean, they were also separated too, so.
From Mike.
From Mike. Now, he had his problems too, but they were still a simple love. He just wouldn't tell her that he loved her.
I mean, simple love still has conflict.
Yeah.
You know?
She never felt as truly seen by any of the other characters in the series, which is a little bit of a problem, but I digress. She never felt as seen by anyone else other than Mike, even the ones that she was close to. This is shown by how, before she's going to disappear in the end, she only brings Mike into her mind to talk to him because she feels he is the only person to understand her entirely. She gives him the responsibility of trying to make all the others understand her choice of disappearing because she believes solely that he's the only one that is going to be able to comprehend this decision.
And he even says that he doesn't understand why she is making this decision, but Eleven just tells him, you will understand, and I know you will, because she just has that much faith in her relationship with him.
Yeah, and in how much she thinks he knows her. And she quite literally says, and I quote, you understand me better than anyone, following that. So
now that we've kind of went into like the pros and cons about the different types of relationships, we kind of want to talk about the heteronormativity and the gender dynamics of all of this, because most of these relationships are straight.
yeah.
You know, and even if it does include a queer character, it usually is a man-woman pairing, you know, like Belly and Jeremiah. It's like he's bisexual, but still a man-woman pairing. So there's obviously certain gender roles and gender dynamics that play into their relationship. And there's just a major lack of sapphic and I think Achillean, is that how you say it? Like for the
Gay
relationships. Well, it can include, like, non-binary people in it as well, but I don't know.
Masculine?
Yeah. Those kind of relationships in these discussions, because there's just not
There's not many.
There's just not many.
I can't think of one, like, single gay romance that's considered to be, like, the best of all time, the greatest romance of all time. Like, there's not many to begin with.
There's just not enough media. Like, more media needs to be
made. Yeah. Now let's get into these gender dynamics, because one thing that has always frustrated me about these complicated loves, since the complicated loves are the most popular in media, one thing that has always frustrated me about them is the patterns of men in these relationships, because most of the time time the man is the complicated one. And even beyond this topic, it always just feels like a lot of the time in media, the woman is being forced into a situation where she has to either fix or understand this complicated man.
And it's not even like that, just like that in fiction. I mean, all the time, it just feels like us as women are forced to try to understand men's stupid decisions and behavior.
Yeah, we have to like decipher it because there's always something going on.
We have to figure them out and solve their problems and fix it.
Because right now we're gonna stick in fiction, okay?
Yeah.
Like 90% of the time in these like fictional relationships, it feels like the man is the complicated person in the relationship if it's not both parties. In real life, it's more mixed, you know?
Like, I hear a lot of men complaining about women being complicated and avoidant and everything these days.
Yeah, Gen Z dating sucks is the main takeaway. But as far as fiction, right? So are men just the problem again? Like, again? The men are the problem again? So in this sense, it almost feels like no matter what, a woman is forced to settle.
Because it's either she's being tormented by some man that she's attracted to and she's trying so hard to get him to love her, or she's with somebody that, you know, treats her well, but she's not even attracted to it.
Why should she have to go through hell just to be with someone that she's actually attracted to, you know? So with that being said, let's flip the script for a moment. Let's see, like, is it really toxic on the other side if the woman is the complicated one in the relationship? Let's flip the script for a moment and talk about a love triangle where the complicated person in the relationship is not only the protagonist, but is also a woman. Elphaba Throp, Fiyero Tigalar, and Glinda Upland. And I'm so glad we get to talk about Wicked the movie. We're talking about the movie.
Yeah, because it's their relationship's a little bit different in like the actual Broadway musical.
Well, also their personalities are a little bit different. I guess Fiyero changes to ESFP more like near the end of Wicked, but overall he was
Wicked
ESTP.
Part 1, he was very like T.
Yeah, he was very thinking. So in this love triangle, oh my god, I'm so excited. In this love triangle, Fiyero is the one who has to make the choice between Elphaba and Glinda. And his relationship with Glinda in this case is a simple love. It would be the easiest choice for him to make, like, we deserve each other.
I mean, they quite literally both call each other perfect, so then they say that they would be perfect together. If they're both perfect individually, then, then it's just, it's the choice that makes sense. Right?
Oh my god.
Born to be forever,
dancing through life. So, yeah, it would be the easiest route for him to take. It's not that he's not attracted to her, you know, but it almost just seems like a thing like he's with her because it seems like that's the thing he's supposed to do,
yeah,
you
that
know?
they're supposed to be together. They're just supposed to.
So, he is attracted to her and would greatly benefit in society by being with her. And his relationship with Elphaba is the complicated love. Now, this is where it differs because, you know, not that they didn't have banter and stuff immediately in the musical, but in the movie, he's actually attracted to her immediately. Whereas I feel it's different in the musical. Like, you know, he had to learn to be attracted to her. Whereas, like
they were more like enemies to lovers in a sense where, like, they actually did not get along.
Yeah,
like, there was just more, like, this kind of vibe in the movie where she's like, I'm just annoyed. And he's, like, kind of trying with her, but she's just not having it.
Yeah. So he was attracted to her from the beginning in the movie, but she just wasn't interested for a while. Unlike the relationships where the man is the complicated person, she was never truly mean to Fiyero or did anything bad to him. I mean, she was, like, standoffish with him at times, like, again,
get stuffed.
Yeah, get stuffed. But she was never, like, cruel to him or something. Like, nothing actually mean. Clearly, she even had some form of secret trust and respect toward him deep down because she chose him to save the lion cub over Glinda. You can choose to believe whether, like, the whole thing with the poppies, whether it was intentional or unintentional, but regardless, there was, like, even if it wasn't intentional, something subconsciously that she trusted him more than Glinda in that moment. And this is refreshing because why is it always when the man is the complicated one in the relationship, they always do or say things that are so malicious toward the woman? And most of the time, it's to keep the woman away from them on purpose because they're somehow protecting her from themselves. They would rather this woman hate them and keep a distance than be honest about anything going on internally. Like, you're pissing me off. Edward Cullen, are you kidding?
I didn't actually save you from that car. No one will believe you.
What?
And then he's like, we shouldn't be friends. You shouldn't talk to me. And then he said,
I didn't say I don't want to be.
yeah, I said we shouldn't be friends, not that I don't want to be. Like, come on. No, I love Edward.
Edward's
I
actually
do.
better than a lot of the, other people.
But, like,
somehow.
that was, like, so ridiculous. Come on.
Like, Edward is, like, toxic, but somehow he's not the most toxic person in these complicated loves.
Mhm.
But, yeah. In this case, with Fiyero and Elphaba, like, there's tons of passion and attraction here. You know, as long as you're mine. Sexiest song on Broadway, guys! And, funnily enough, they actually became a simple love. So, again, it kind of begs the question, is having a simple love the goal? Is it the goal all along? Is simple love superior?
I mean, at the end of the day, Belly and Conrad became a simple love. They were complicated, but they became simple. Just like how I was saying with Jeremiah and Belly, they were simple, but then they became complicated.
Rip my hair out, like...
So, it's Pride Month, so let's get Sapphic up in here. Let's flip the script once more with Fiyero, Elphaba, and Glinda. Let's do this. So let's say that Elphaba is the one making the choice between Fiyero and Glinda. Now, honestly, as far as like the movie and musical go, I don't personally see Glinda and Elphaba in a romantic way, but I know a lot of y'all do, and so I want to do this.
We're
and
gonna
explore
respect
this
it.
for you
We're
because
gonna
I
respect it.
100% support Gelfie as a ship. I just think because of this strong friendship that they have, I see too much of us in it, you know what I mean? As like this strong sisterhood. But you know what? If you see it that way, I'm all for it, and that's why I want to talk about this and explore this. So let's make it gay. Like let's do it. Let's make this Sapphic. Now, in this situation, Glinda has become the complicated love for Elphaba. But for Elphaba, unlike how for Fiyero, being with Elphaba would be his complicated choice, but for Elphaba, all of a sudden, Fiyero has always been the simple option for her. Glinda and Elphaba just have this very strong relationship that, you know, transcends typical friendship, and again, it can be seen as romantic by some, and many ship them, and that's why, you know, Gelfie exists. But no matter what, there was always a lack of honesty. There was so much selfishness on Glinda's part. Glinda's goal was always, you know, putting her safety first, securing that place in society, and it was always gonna be at Elphaba's expense.
Yeah, and the funny part is, she even wanted Elphaba to have a place in society too, but again, it's against Elphaba's values. It's still, no matter what, even if she thinks she's helping Elphaba, it's still at her expense because it's not Elphaba's truth. So, like, what caused a push and pull dynamic between them is that they were always separated by society at a certain point because of Glinda's actions. Whereas Elphaba's love for Fiyero, it was always simple. Again, he was clear on his interest in her. He went and found her in the woods.
And they share the same
that's
political stance.
They share the same
animals.
political stance. So again, they already have they have this understanding. He was attracted to her, like, again, since like the lion cub incident. He brought her the flower before she left. And then, even with Fiyero being the captain of the Wizard's Guard, it was to find Elphaba. Like, he was looking for her this entire time. They just understood each other on a deep level, Fiyero and Elphaba. A level that was actually deeper than Elphaba and Glinda's. Sorry, but it's because despite Elphaba's deep relationship with Glinda, Glinda never really understood Elphaba until it was too late. For so long, Glinda never understood Elphaba's choices or why Elphaba would make life harder for herself. So she was always trying to get her to change her mind and get her to come back to the wizard. You see, it just shows that she doesn't fully understand her and never will, because she tries to get her to come back to the wizard despite claiming to respect her choice in Wicked Part 1 during Defying Gravity. She said, I hope you're happy that you're choosing this, like, even though she doesn't understand her choice. So it's like, you're saying you respect it, but you'll never understand it. And so in the end, as much as I hate to say it, Glinda isn't what Elphaba needs, despite their deep relationship. We know we all love their relationship, but unfortunately, Elphaba just needed someone who was going to be a ride or die for her and not just secretly supporting her from afar. So once again, simple love wins.
As our final talking point, now that we've talked so much about fiction, let's talk about real life. How does this present itself in real life? And what is society shifting towards? What does society really want?
Especially because clearly complicated love is romanticized.
Yeah. Honestly, overall, from what I've seen on the internet, society and especially women recently have had a shift toward simple love, which I think is a great thing. I love simple love, and it's keeping people from staying in very toxic situations or just situations that don't serve them just because they love somebody or they're attracted to them.
Because I hate to tell it to you people, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I hate to break it to you, but loving someone is a choice, people. You wanna act like, you can't control who you love. It's more like you can't control who you're attracted to. Actually, giving love to them is a choice.
Yeah.
I guess deep down you can love them. I guess you can't choose whether you like them or not, right?
Well, again, it's the attraction.
It's the attraction, but you can choose to actually show love to them. That is
and be in a
choice.
relationship.
So let it go. Again, people will always hate me for this, but again, I'm like, marriage isn't based on love. It's partnership. Do you actually see that you can be a life partner with this person? It's not just about whether you love them or not. Because if you went with everyone you were attracted to or just everyone that you loved, it's not going to end up well. And it doesn't.
And that's why it's always that question of chemistry or compatibility.
But lately, people are looking more at how they are being treated rather than how someone makes them feel. Again, you can feel this, I don't know, even if it is emotional and whatever, it doesn't mean that it's good. It doesn't mean that it's good for you.
And this can lead to far healthier relationships because a simple love is built on mutual respect and reciprocation rather than just being attracted to somebody. However, honestly, this idea of avoiding complicated love specifically isn't good when it's just taken too far.
Because right now, we are so entitled as a society. I understand leaving things that don't serve us, but at a certain point, it just becomes complete avoidance of anything hard in general. You shouldn't feel like you're going insane and going through this mental chaos by being in a relationship with somebody, but some relationships, they do have obstacles, and somebody might come off as difficult, but it doesn't mean that you don't try to understand that person at all. If you're constantly being treated a certain way, then it becomes a problem if they don't change, but maybe they're struggling and they need somebody.
Yeah.
Some relationships aren't meant to be a cakewalk. We've become so selfish and entitled to the point that we won't help people if it even slightly inconveniences us, and we don't stay when one problem comes up.
We're walking out. We're done.
When something becomes even slightly difficult, because I see so many videos about dating advice, and especially on social media lately, where it's dating red flags content either by women
or just men
telling women what is acceptable behavior from men or not. And honestly, we should be talking about this because women do not need to keep going through these cycles with men who are not worth it. But at the same time, some of the content goes to an extreme level. I think this is things that people we should be talking about this, but almost again that Gen Z dating thing where they have these extreme points where these hypothetical men should not even have lives outside of the women that they're pursuing. Again, he needs to have all this time for me, and he needs to be 100% every time he talks to me, and
princess treatment.
Yeah, the princess treatment pisses me off. Oh my god. I guess if that's what you want, that's your prerogative. You should find somebody who wants to do that for you. But it's some people making content being how to trick your man into doing princess treatment and being okay with it eventually. What?
I just want to cut in here and specify specifically what I'm talking about, because I know some people only consider princess treatment to be oh, he opens the car door for me every time. That sort of stuff, more chivalry, which is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about extreme stuff. Basically acting like this man is my servant and I purposely am cruel and inconvenience him. And also just kind of weird stuff like he has to speak for me every time we go out in public. I refuse to speak for myself. He has to speak for me. Or again, I saw this video where this woman was talking about princess treatment and how she again is purposefully doing stuff to make his life more irritating. Like she makes him turn off her bedside lamp every night, but she has this weird thing where she specifically makes it so she's in bed and he's in bed already relaxing, but will only make him like turn it off once she's like fallen asleep or something. So then he has to like, you know, get back up out of the bed and walk around all the way to the other side of the room, even though it's right next to her. She could literally just turn the switch off, but because of the princess treatment, he has to get up even if he was already sleeping just to go all the way to the other side of the room where she is to turn it off. Like, that's ridiculous.
And it's just messed up because it's like, you know, God forbid somebody have mental health problems or burnout and can't be at full capacity 100% with you all the time, constantly. Just because they like you doesn't mean they have to abandon their own mental health or the things that they deem important in their life just to please you.
Again,
because obviously if you mean anything to that person, you will be one of those important things.
You will be
in their life.
prioritized,
But like to a certain point, it's like, whoa.
Again, it's
too much.
It's a partnership. It should be a supplement to your life, but not consuming the whole thing. So it can't just be all about you all the time, but they should be making you a priority, though.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you are dating someone, you deserve consistency from them. You deserve all that from them. But just because if they aren't happy, like super happy at one point, or just don't get around to responding to like your text like one time, doesn't mean they're evil or something. Like people are like, if he doesn't respond to your text, like, you know, obviously if it becomes a consistent behavior where this person is like, again, they're inconsistent all the time and they're moody and like that's like a repetitive behavior, like where they're all in and then all out, like,
yeah,
you know,
it's like they give and then they completely
breadcrumbing.
take away. Yeah,
that is where it becomes a problem. But if we're just acting like he didn't answer my text this one time when you're already freaking out about it, it's
that's
like
very anxious attachment. Literally what we're talking about is like avoidant versus anxious attachment, and like both are so bad.
Yeah, they're both awful. What I'm saying, if we're already getting hung up on very small problems that we're not willing to work through, because that's the thing, the problem is like an anxious person will be like, oh my god, he didn't text me, and then when you like, you know, ask about anything, then the avoidant is like, I'm leaving. Like, you know, then
I
they
don't
just
want to deal with this problem.
then they just don't talk about it at all. And so like, again, if we're already getting hung up on this simple of problems and we're leaving each other, then we can already assume that people who are doing this are not going to be around long enough for when things get actually difficult. We're talking about simple problems here.
Yeah. And instead of, you know, checking in with people and trying to make sure people are okay, helping them if they're going through anything, we make it all about ourselves. And we just ask ourselves, what can this person do for me? And it's annoying. It's selfish. People would rather act like that than be willing to put in the work to meet people where they're at and help people or support people in a proper way, or, you know, just give people space.
Yeah. We just kind of abandon people when they are quote unquote difficult because we are taught to so easily discard them. Like right now, I feel like that's the thing with the people are like, cut off everybody. And it's like, honestly, you know, I actually like that people are finally being like, cut off people in your life, because people used to make you feel so guilty for keeping people around that are not worth it and are only like causing you problems. But also, again, if you're just having like the first problem ever with this person or just like little problems, then we're like, you know what, throw it all away.
Yeah, and this is where I actually kind of appreciate some aspects of complicated love, because life is complicated, people are complicated, and you know, there's nuances to everything, and I just don't believe that everything is so black and white. I think there's a lot of gray area, and there's two sides to every story.
At least complicated loves that make it two simple loves put in the work and time to get there, and again, they went through these problems. But it can't stay complicated, though. That is the main point. It can't stay complicated.
The push and pull cycle has to end at some point. So what's the verdict, right? Which type of relationship is better? Is there one that's better than the other? Honestly, there isn't really an answer. It's genuinely up to personal preference. If you would rather have a relationship that feels like Taylor Swift, Red, The Way I Loved You, This Love, over having one that feels like Cardigan or Delicate, that's your prerogative, and that's totally up to you.
And sorry if you hate Taylor Swift or don't, or like, what are they talking about? But it's very tied into the Summer I Turned Pretty.
Yeah, so that's why I'm bringing it up.
It's like, again,
like all of
Conrad
these
or
songs
Jeremiah.
were in the show, so that's why I'm bringing it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, who are we to say what you should or shouldn't have? You know, some people would rather feel, I'd rather feel everything than nothing every time, as Ari would say, you know. We're gonna end this video on a very Ariana Grande note. That's your right, you know. If you want to feel everything, you want to be all in the feels, then that's your human right to experience love that way, because, like, I get it. Your life is your one chance to experience it all.
If you're a person that feels like if love doesn't feel like a panic attack, it's not real love, then that's fine, you know? Like,
Not
you
real.
do you, I'm not trying to yuck your yum. But, you know, take care of yourself. But obviously, as you can see with me describing complicated love as feeling like a panic attack, you can see that I'm in favor of simple love, and I think you can tell from what she has said as well, we are both in favor of simple love.
Because it all comes down to the fact that when it comes to relationships, I think, why does it have to get crazy? As Jessica Olsen from Starstruck would put it. Because I genuinely believe that relationships aren't as difficult as people make them out to be. People just like to be complicated. Like, I swear, they're so stuck in their own ways that they will not do the easy thing. Like, I'm just saying, like, I know that it seems hard to be, like, completely honest and whatever because it's making you vulnerable. But the thing is, if you make that a constant habit, it won't feel hard to do that with people.
No, because I'm so honest, and I literally, if I feel something, I will say it anymore. And other people are just very scared of it, and they're like, I don't want to have to be honest like they are, so I'm just gonna walk away.
I'm so intimidated. I can't deal with this.
And it just shows a very big lack of emotional maturity.
Yeah, because
to be honest,
we genuinely believe that relationships are not that difficult if you're willing to put in the effort to have a clear, honest communication. So many of these complications in these relationships can be avoided just by being honest. Like, people don't want to tell each other how they feel. Like, they don't want to be real.
No, because people don't want to put in the effort of being honest and vulnerable with somebody, because again, when you feel vulnerable, they feel so exposed, you know?
I know, and that's
but it's like, I'm just showing the real me.
And
you know?
sometimes
I just want authenticity.
And sometimes it's a thing where they can't face you if they can't even face themselves. They don't even want to put in their own internal work to figure themselves out, so they're just gonna drag you through their
Yeah.
too.
And that's why, you know, don't get into a relationship or start even acting remotely romantic with somebody else if you are just not in a place where you can do that.
Yeah.
Just don't. Because we've simply become too selfish and avoidant to be in secure relationships, to have a secure attachment style. And people are not willing to change. And it's so bad that we've made it into this whole thing that it's embarrassing to even show interest in somebody at baseline. Like, to even just openly be like, I like you.
Yeah, that fact is already embarrassing. I think it's just another thing where people are so afraid. Again, it's that vulnerability thing. Like, we act like rejection is the biggest thing ever. I'm not saying it's not scary, but again, once you get used to it and you've already done that work on yourself, it won't bother you that much anymore.
Like, if you get rejected, you get rejected. People see rejection as so much as a thing where it's like an attack on their character. Like, oh, I was never good enough. And it's like, no, it's just incompatibility. You're just not the kind of person that that specific person wants to be with. It doesn't
Like,
mean that you suck.
not everyone has to be attracted to you, just like how there are people that you aren't attracted to as well. Give people the same respect as you give yourself, like, genuinely. So all we have to say is cut the bullshit. Don't confuse people and just be simple. Be real, love hard, and be done.
And that was all we had to say about complicated and simple loves. That was a lot. I'm glad we talked about this because I just needed to get it off my chest.
But you know what? At the end of the day, it's your choice. We've given you a lot to think about, maybe be introspective about, but at the end of the day, ultimately, we're not going to tell you what to choose.
I'm not trying to yuck your yum enjoy your life and live it the way you want to. And I'm going to live my life the way I want to. I am just exhausted with people, and I just want to sit on the couch, watch my stupid little superhero show with somebody, and play a video game without it being this whole thing of being like, I just want to watch effing Scooby-Doo 2002 on Halloween with somebody and do stupid and not have to worry about whether the person hates me or if this relationship is going anywhere. Like, oh my god.
It's just like, can people be real, please?
Literally what happened to just being like, hey, I think you're cool and we should hang out and I really want to be friends.
And then actually
And
following
then actually
through with what
following
you
through with
said.
it.
Oh my god, imagine actually making plans with somebody and then actually following through with the plans.
Like,
Oh my
imagine literally asking someone to hang out and then actually doing it.
The bar is in hell. Like,
Yeah, because apparently you hanging out with me, even though you're the one who initiated it, apparently that's an inconvenience to you.
Whereas, like, I just don't view relationships that way at all. I think it's so easy to hang out with people and be in relationships with people because they're just a part of your life then.
Yeah.
How hard is it to actually make effort for people if you actually like them? Then it doesn't feel like effort at all because you always just want to, like, you know, be there for people, right?
Yeah. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Again, I just want to sit at home and watch Smallville with some Spider-Man cosplayer.
Oh my god, where's my Spider-Man cosplayer boyfriend? Please reach out to me, like, if you do that kind of thing, and if you, like, are interested in me, if you want to, like, send me a DM,
Our DMs are open.
Our DMs are open if you're a Spider-Man cosplayer. Again, I don't care who's behind the mask, so just, like, hit me up. Like, I will find you attractive, so just let me know. I'm asexual.
We're both asexual, actually, so, like, if you're okay with that,
slide in.
yeah, send me a DM.
Oh god.
My Instagram will be down below.
So am I! Alright, close it out.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. Turn on the bell for notifications for our future content. We have a gaming channel. A link to that will be down in the description. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. I hope you have an amazing day, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Like, why do I keep having dreams about dating Lex? It's not.
I literally just had, like, again, I told you, I literally had a dream. I was just hugging Lex Luthor, like, in the mansion. That was it. And that was the whole dream, because that is my dream. Why won't Lex, he just wants love, guys. I don't care about what he did. No, I do care, but, like, he's just,
you know, he's not he's not Lex from Superman 2025. Like, he's not that horrible.
Not 1A.
1A!
Like,
but, like, I also had a dream about, like, Clark saving me from a car accident. You know, I love it. Like, somebody save me. Let your warmth break right through.
No, it's like, you know what? You don't even have to be a Spider-Man cosplayer. It's just, like, it could be anything. Okay, like, Lex Luthor cosplay.
Oh my god. Also, maybe just be an alien. Literally, like, come down from the sky and crash in the cornfield. I'm not against dating aliens and robots, and yeah, I'm down for anything, guys.
Date the AI. Okay, we gotta go. We're done. Oh my god.